I would have loved to tell you this is what I did when I first started my business 20 years ago. It's not. This is what I learned the hard way. What if I told you that pricing your services are easier than you think? That you don't need to be a CPA like me. You don't need a spreadsheet. That you only need to do 3 things to price your services, raise your fees, and make more money without working more hours, and definitely without experiencing burnout and overwhelm. I'm going to help you in this video learn how to raise your fees without feeling guilty and get paid a lot of money for the transformative work that you do while also serving the premium value clients that you are called to serve. So let's jump into it. Okay, the first thing that you need to do is decide how much money you want to make. That's the first thing you need to do. Literally, decide how much money I want to make, whether that's how much money I want to make this year, this quarter, or this month. It begins with you deciding. And it's so interesting that most of us never decide. I don't know, have you found yourself contemplating or pre-contemplating? And so in this contemplation, you may find yourself wavering back and forth. Immediately, I think of James, right? You are double-minded. You may be saying, I'd love to make this much money, but who will pay me this? Or I'm called to make this much money, but who will pay me this? See, when you are wavering back and forth, you haven't decided. And that's why the first step is so critical. And only you can make that decision. Decide how much money you want to make. And so let's just take an easy number, right? Like, do you want to make $1 million this year? See, once you make that decision, of how much you want to make, it makes all the other decisions that you have to take easier. And in that decision, step 1 of deciding how much money you want to make, there's an underlying decision you have to make. You have to decide that you are worth it. Whether you are worth making $1 million, $2 million, $3 million, $5 million a year, or you're worth making 600,000, 500,000, 400,000, 300,000, 598,000. Decide how much you want to make and decide that you are worth it. Remember, L'Oreal has been telling us for years, you're worth it. But even before L'Oreal was God. Abundance is your birthright. The Bible tells us that He has given us the power, the ability to create wealth. So there's so many areas in the Bible where we know that it's our birthright. But a critical thing that we we forget is in Matthew 7:7-8. Ask and it will be given, seek and you will find, knock and the door will be answered. So there is something that we have to do first. God's not going to do our part, and we definitely, although we try, we can't do God's part. So decide how much money you want to make and decide that you are worth it. See, these pricing strategies, by the way, are inside out. It starts inside out. Number 2 is design the container you want to deliver your transformative services. Now, I want to say something. If you too suffer or are recovering from this illness, so let me ask you a question. Are you a heartaholic? You might say, what's a heartaholic? Someone who finds to do things the hard way. Listen, when I heard my mentor, Myron Golden, asked one of my fellow, students, one of his clients, right? Are they a heartaholic? It was like, oh dang, I guess I'm a heartaholic too, right? And don't feel bad if you struggle with doing things easy when you're given a simple solution. You're trying to find ways to poke holes in it because we've been programmed to believe that we have to work twice as hard, fill in the blank, say it with me, twice as hard to make half as much. We've been programmed to believe that, right? We've been programmed to believe that money doesn't grow in trees, right? And so we've been programmed to believe, listen, I'm a CPA. I don't practice, but I still have my credentials. You can look it up in the state of Virginia, the Virginia Board of Accountancy, that we need these spreadsheets and deep analysis when actually, as service providers, and even if you're selling a product, you first have to decide how much money you want to make. Like, no spreadsheet's going to help you decide how much money you're going to make. No chat GPT is going to help you decide how much money you want to make. So for all of us recovering heartaholics, maybe you just came into the awareness of that, let go of the need for things to be complicated and embrace that things can be easy and simple. Once you've decided how much money you want to make, you then design the container that you want to deliver your transformative work. Is that a retreat? Is that a VIP day? Is that a master class? Is that a mastermind? Is that a book? Is that one-on-one? Is that a boot camp? Is that a 5-day? You decide. You've already made that one decision, right? And that drives, and then you get to design. And this is so important. And this is the fun part. You get to design how you want to deliver your transformative work based on your lifestyle. See, one of the mistakes that I made is I didn't take into account my lifestyle. And so when I've been caregiving and having caregiving responsibilities since 2003, but they have first caregiving for my father, providing caregiving. One of his caregivers for my father died in 2005. And then for my mother, which has only gone up. See, here's the thing is I didn't design my business to take into account when my caregiving responsibilities had significantly increased. I hadn't designed my business to accommodate for that where it was sustainable. We don't take into account often our lifestyle, what we really desire, what's going to work for us. And that's why you will never see, and you haven't seen in if you've been following me since I started my business over 20 years ago, a 7 p.m. class. I'm like, at night, I'm done. It's been a few years. It's been a few years, but I was a go to bed at 10 and I was at the gym at 6:30. Like 7 p.m. to teach and deliver. It's not going to happen. That doesn't work with my lifestyle. And so in some ways, I had designed my business for lifestyle, but in many ways I had missed the mark. And a lot of times we miss this mark. So design the container to hold your transformative work based on your first decision on how much you're going to make. I remember having a discovery call with a female entrepreneur years ago, maybe 7 years ago. And she told me how much she wanted to make, and she told me her fees. And being the CPA, I pulled out my calculator. And the math wasn't mathing in terms of like, you want all this freedom, you want to make this money, which is perfect, which is possible. But based on your pricing, you got to work this many hours or serve this many clients. The math is not mathing. Now I know one can chase 1,000, two can chase 10,000. I get that. I do, right? But let's talk about simple third grade math. I want to make this much money. Then how much do I have to sell? Like my services are based on this, my prices. How much do I have to sell or how many hours? Is it working? Does it make sense? If it does, fantastic. Let's go. If it doesn't, well, then maybe you need to change your pricing. Maybe you need to raise your fees or change your containers or add some containers. And then number 3, after you've decided, you've cut off all other options. This is how much I'm going to make. Whatever we focus on grows. I'm not going to be double-minded. I'm not going to be wavering. This is how much I want to make. I'm designing the container in which I want to deliver the services that support that one decision. And now I'm going to discover who will pay me to solve to solve their problems. Let's keep it clear. I've got to discover who are those people. And once I discover who those individuals are, I've got to make myself findable for those people. I have to be found by those people. So if I discover that the people who will pay me to solve their problem, I've already, discovered this big problem that I can help people solve, not a problem that they can Google, not a transaction, a transformation. And I discovered this group of people. Well, then where do those group of people hang out online and in person? What podcasts do they listen to? What conferences do they attend? What social media platforms are they on? Make myself findable. Go where they are already playing. 3 steps. And again, for the heartaholics, recovering heartaholics, remember Ephesians. He can do exceedingly abundantly above all that we can even ask or imagine. So whatever you are asking or thinking in terms of those 3, decide, design, or discover, God can do more. And remember, He's not going to do your part and you can't do His part. 3 simple strategies to price your services that will position you to have more time, money, freedom, peace, joy in your business and life that is sustainable. And this is so important. I have to remind us of this. If your business is not sustainable, if you're feeling the weight and the burden and the overwhelm of your business, how will you be able to serve clients at a higher level? It's not going to happen. We have to maintain a high energy to attract high income and premium value clients. And I'm here to tell you, like when my energy has been low, when I've been in a funk, like a funk that I know I'm in a funk and I'm just overwhelmed, down. Let me just say what I love to say: stressed, depressed, and all the rest. I'm not attracting premium. I'm not like my energy is low and I'm not going to attract high income. That's the same for you. So you may be wondering what happened. Maybe it's because you're stressed, depressed, and all the rest. And that's okay. Because the Bible says, don't be weary in well doing, because he knows we will get weary. The Bible says he's going to restore our soul because we know that we need daily restoration. The Bible tells us to wait on the Lord and renew our strength. But let's take that all into account when we decide how much money we want to make. We design how we want to deliver our transformative work, and we discover who is happy to pay us to solve their problems quicker, easier, more effectively, and more efficiently than they could do on their own. And we will find that we have unprecedented sales results. It's like, what? Like, it's been this easy? What? And God's like, yeah, I was waiting for you. Listen, if you want to learn the 7 biggest money mistakes that I see female entrepreneurs make that keep them from 7 figures, and you want to learn how you may be stopping yourself to be found by premium value clients who are willing to pay you at the highest level, I have a free training just for you on these mistakes and what you need to do to stop making them. I've also included a bonus workbook. So just click on the link either in the description or I'll pin it in the comments and get your hands on this training. And I will see you on the other side. Okay, until then, take care. Bye for now. Thanks for watching. Subscribe and hit the notification bell so you're notified when we release a new video. Then click the TV to watch the next video. Go to altheamcintyre.com to get your free training on the 7 biggest sales mistakes that keep you from 7 figures.